If you happen to like living in a country with cheap, reliable energy, Maxine has been trying to stop that for a while. This might be one of my favorite clips of all time. You can watch the brain of Maxine Waters working at full throttle when she just realizes she said something she wasn't supposed to. In this instance, is that she wanted to socialize the entire energy sector.
And guess what this liberal would be all about? This liberal will be all about socializing.
Oh my.
Would be about
something coming up soon.
Basically. Taking over. And the government running all of your companies.
The word, obviously, that Maxine Waters was looking for there, Shep, was nationalizing the oil industry.
Yeah, I guess that's very generous take on that particular clip. I love that clip. Socializing is only a 4-syllable word, and Maxine gets through like 3.85 syllables before jamming the car into reverse. Love it. It's only 11 letters, and she somehow stops in the middle of the 11th letter before realizing she screwed up. Following that, with, of course, what seems like 3.5 minutes of silence and staring and uttering nonsensical nothing, and you have a legendary video clip. I love how one, but I don't know, gosh, it was probably probably 2 different people behind her are just sort of laughing. You can see them laughing. He just fades his head out, tries to get behind her so no one can see him laughing, and then she just leans in and can't help herself. Now, I love that. You probably knew Maxine was kind of dumb, but you probably didn't know she was a millennial once.
Our millennials are a force. I recognize it, and I was a millennial once. No longer, of course, but I love what you're doing. Thank you so very much.
I was a millennial once. Is this some sort of silly mistake? Does Maxine Waters think millennial means young person instead of a person reaching young adulthood in the early 21st century? No. She was talking about the first definition of the word, denoting or relating to a period of 1,000 years. She's just saying she remembers when she turned 1,000 years old. Now, of course, the woman known by the far left as Auntie Maxine gets the benefit of the doubt from the media when she says stupid things, because on the big things, she aligns with them. Like, for example, they want people who served in the Trump administration to be harassed too.
If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
First of all, she just sounds delightful, doesn't she? As audibly appealing as the screeching brakes of a train as it careens through a massive pile of terrified feral cats. Her voice is about as appealing as this t-shirt, which, by the way, has a photo of what your actual stomach probably already looks like. If you ever wanted to show off your hairy beer gut and man boobs without having to go topless, this t-shirt is for you. Actually available in the internet. But it's this attitude, this sort of burn it down when we don't get what we want ideology that the media and Maxine really share. It's what she's best known for. We are now at a point in our country where we accept and embrace a population torching their own cities to quote-unquote protest a verdict in a legal proceeding. Every single one of you out there, whether you're conservative, whether you're a business owner in Minneapolis, or even a hardcore liberal hate-watching, you all know that if Derek Chauvin is not guilty, the left will burn Minneapolis to the ground. It is a known certainty. So naturally, here's Maxine Waters making it worse.
We've got to not only stay in the street, but we've got to fight for justice. But I am very hopeful, and I hope that we're going to get a verdict that will say guilty, guilty, guilty. And if we don't, we cannot go away.
And not just manslaughter, right? I mean...
Oh, no, not manslaughter. No. This is guilty for murder. I don't know whether it's in the first degree, but as far as I'm concerned, it's first degree murder.
Congresswoman, what happens if we do not get what you just told? What should the people do? What should protesters on the street do?
I didn't hear you.
What happens?
What should protesters do?
Well, we got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational. We've got to make sure that they know that we mean business.
More controversial? You guys remember all the cities burning to the ground last summer? More confrontational? That's really what we need to do? I mean, it's a little tough to hear because you got the idiots with the drum circle on one side and you got her virtue signaling in her dumb mask while she's already been vaccinated on the other side. It's hard to hear. But her saying that she wants more confrontation out of this is mind-blowing. And again, she said guilty, guilty, guilty. The reason she said guilty 3 times is there's 3 charges against Derek Chauvin. There's manslaughter and 2 different types of murder. If she doesn't get guilty, 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 well, stay in the streets and make it worse than last time. More confrontational. How do you take that any other way? Look, this happened to make its way, of course, into the courtroom today. And you want to see the judge on the Chauvin case, trying to maintain some level of sensible legal judgment here, talking about those specific comments. This just happened a few hours ago.
I'm aware that Congresswoman Waters was talking specifically about this trial and about the unacceptability of anything less than a murder conviction and talk about being confrontational, but you can submit the press articles about that. This goes back to what I've been saying from the beginning. I wish elected officials would stop talking about this case, especially in a manner that is disrespectful to the rule of law and to the judicial branch and our function. I think if they want to give their opinions, they should do so in a respectful and in a manner that is consistent with their oath to the Constitution, to respect a co-equal branch of government. Their failure to do so, I think, is abhorrent, but I don't think it has prejudiced us with additional material that would prejudice this jury. They have been told not to watch the news. I trust they are following those instructions and that there is not in any way a prejudice to the defendant beyond the articles that we're talking specifically about the facts of this case. A congresswoman's opinion really doesn't matter a whole lot.
True.
Anyway, so motion for mistrial is denied.
I mean, worth a shot, I suppose, if you're the attorneys of Derek Chauvin. Not going to throw the trial out over it, but I mean, it is pretty significant situation. And Maxine Waters' opinion doesn't mean much. I mean, that's definitely true. That's legal. It's science. It's everything. Rachel Scott also added that as that clip went on, the judge also added her words might win the defense an appeal if Chauvin is convicted. So Maxine Waters, as usual, making every situation worse. Now, if you actually care about the country, it's completely nonsensical to do something like Maxine Waters just did. It's all about as nonsensical as this particular T-shirt featuring Kim Jong-un, Mohammed bin Salman, and Vladimir Putin holding a baby Donald Trump like their parents in a gay throuple. Would you buy that shirt? I don't think I would. Or perhaps this Trump T-shirt featuring Donald Trump wielding a golf club like a sword while Melania Trump holds onto one leg, and I think it's Ivanka holding onto her dad's other leg. I mean, human beings are freaking weird. By the way, don't buy this crappy anti or pro-Trump merchandise, whichever one it is. I can't even tell. Buy Nancy Pelosi sucks pens, of course. Why wouldn't you do that? Or Nancy Pelosi sucks mugs. Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, well, let me give you a reason why you should do it. Pelosi was asked what she thought of Maxine's comments, and here's what she told CNN. Quote, "No, she doesn't," Pelosi said when asked by a reporter if Waters needs to apologize for saying activists for racial justice need to get more confrontational when advocating for police reforms. That woman on the floor should be apologizing for what she said, Pelosi said, referencing Lisa McClain, who spoke shortly after Pelosi gavelled the House into session for the day. Maxine talked about confrontation in the manner of the civil rights movement, Pelosi said, returning to Waters, "I myself think we should take our lead from the George Floyd family. They've handled this with great dignity and no ambiguity or lack of misinterpretation by the other side. No, I don't think she should apologize." Asked if Waters' comments could incite violence, Pelosi said, "No, absolutely not." What are you talking about? The violence was happening without her words. Certainly that's got to heal the situation to ask for them to be more confrontational. Luckily, no one listens to Maxine Waters. That's our best hope. Our best hope is she's ignored. And that's true like all the time. This is really incredible coming from the left right now. Longtime viewers of this program will know that I don't think the post-election situation was handled by a variety of Republicans across the board. But in the January 6th speech itself, Trump didn't say anything as close to incitement as Maxine did this weekend. And this is after a year of nothing on the Trump case to suggest that to suggest that the George Floyd situation should be more confrontational after watching our cities all across the country burn to the ground. That is completely nuts. And that's what Maxine Waters is. Completely nuts.